guys, it's Sarah, and I don't have my microphone up, and it's not plugged in. Wow, I am losing today. Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today I am going to be doing an original tag. This is a tag that I created with the help of my husband. Actually, he helped me come up with some of these questions, and this is something that we did when we were preparing for Hurricane Michael, which just happened. We are in the tail end, actually, of hurricane season. Hurricane season usually runs from June to November, so we're kind of towards the end of it, but we did not get away unscathed for sure. Hurricane Michael came, it affected almost the entire panhandle, and it was a doozy. I'm still seeing firsthand, people who have been affected by it because they are here taking refuge until they can get back. They can't even get back into Panama City right now because it's too dangerous, and it just breaks my heart. We actually have a family who just moved into a house down our street, and their kids are going to be going to school with my girls, and we were just trying to make them feel as welcome as possible, and it's just, my heart cannot, give enough right now for these people. It's hard. Okay, so while we were getting ready and kind of preparing, I kind of thought about all of the stages that you go through when you're preparing for a hurricane, and, kind of the verbiage that is used to describe some things that are happening around you. And I thought it'd be fun to come up with a little book tag for this. So I have 10 questions, and they're all going to be centered around hurricane situations, or, titles that we use for whatever is happening at the present time, and kind of as things change and kind of the progression of a hurricane. And then we are going to pick books based on what those are. So question number 1 is hurricane prep. And that's when you're preparing for a hurricane, you're going and buying all the water, you're getting all the gas, you're buying all the batteries, all the things that you're going to need in case you lose power or something drastic happens. So for hurricane prep, the challenge is to find a book with a good survival story. This one is going to be As We Know It by Carrie Butler. This is a book that I read a couple years ago. The author actually sent it to me herself, and I really, really enjoyed this one. This definitely is kind of a post-apocalyptic type thing. There is a natural disaster that happens up in the northwestern part of the United States, and you follow a couple of characters who are just trying to survive it, basically. And it definitely goes into, basic human survival mode, and I really enjoyed it. It was incredibly fast-paced. I really, really liked the characters and their dynamic together, and I couldn't put this one down. I read it really quickly, and I ended up giving it 5 stars, and I don't talk about it enough on my channel, but that one's really good. And if you're a Kindle reader, it's only $3 on Kindle, so I would definitely check it out. Question number 2 is Hurricane Party. So that is when it's a hurricane, but not really. It's probably just going to be a pretty bad storm. You might not even lose power type of thing, but you still don't want to be outside in it. So you have a hurricane party, and all your friends come over and spend the night, and it's just a good time. You sit around and you drink and you laugh and you play games, and it's fun. So for this one, you're supposed to pick a book that takes place during a party or a storm. And for this one, I picked Big Little Lies by Liane Moriarty. This whole premise is surrounding a party at a school that is held. I think it's a fundraiser at an elementary school. And it kind of, the whole thing circles around one event that happened at this party. So we start out at this party and we end at this party. And, throughout the book, you go back into the past and see what happened leading up to it, but it always comes back to it because something big happened here. And I loved this book so much. And the TV adaptation as well. Both were really, really, really good. Question number 3 is The Big Shift, and that is when a hurricane takes either an expected or unexpected turn, and you kind of just sit around and wait for it to do that. Especially if it's something coming towards you, you wait for it to make a shift. And for this one, you're supposed to pick a book that has a lot of unexpected turns. This one, I'm going to say I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh. I absolutely loved this book. I would like to read more from this author. I have a couple of her other books. I haven't read them yet, unfortunately, but this one really took multiple turns. I remember being surprised a couple of times because I did not see things coming that actually ended up happening. It really was, really good plot twists, and there were multiple of them. So this one definitely fits for that. Question number 4 is Jim Cantore. All right. Jim Kandori is a weatherman on the Weather Channel, and it's a big running joke that if he shows up somewhere, like, you better hunker down and get ready because something's about to get bad. He is known to go right to the center of the storm. He does not worry about safety. He's in the middle of it. Like, he'd be standing outside. He's the American flag waver, like in the middle of a hurricane, that meme that has been going around type thing. So if he shows up, people start freaking out because they know it's going to be bad. And that is a big, running joke, especially in hurricane areas. And he showed up here. He flew into our airport. He did end up going to Panama City, but he flew in here and we were all like, what? So, wait a minute. So for this one, pick a character that really freaked you out and caused a little bit of panic. Need I say more? Pennywise. Freaked me right out. Like, nope. I didn't have a problem with clowns before I read this book, but now I kind of have a problem with clowns. I'm not okay with them anymore. And yeah, I just, no. No. Question number 5 is hurricane surfers. We've all seen them. They're the ones who are out in the ocean surfing during a hurricane because they're dumb and everyone's screaming at them to go inside. The question for this is a character that always makes stupid decisions. Okay. Feyre. In this book, I'm going to preface it with that. I did not like Feyre in this first book, to the point where I didn't know if I was going to read the second one. I liked the book fine, but she drove me nuts. She was just, someone sit on this girl and keep her still because she needs to just sit down and shut up. She is not, the hero here. She's not the one who's supposed to go through all this stuff. She's not the one who can save the world by herself. She doesn't have anything that can go up against these people that she's surrounded by. She's not like them. She's not the same. And, but she thought she was and thought she could do everything and thought she could out manipulate people. No, honey, you cannot. You cannot. She actually drove me nuts in here. I hated her in this book. She has grown on me. I do like her now. But this one, I was like, honey, you stay in the house. You need to stay in the house. Question number 6 is hunker down, which is, your stay and put. So you stay inside and you sit and you hunker down and you wait. And this is to find a book that can easily be read in one sitting. I'm going to say anything by Colleen Hoover. Now, I'm holding this one up because this is her latest, and I did read this in one day. Not completely one sitting. I did have to get up and do a few other things, but in one day I read this, and I could have easily read this in one sitting. I could not put it down. Her writing is just really easy to get through. It's, nothing incredibly dense, but it's very meaningful, and the way she writes, I just want to keep going. I don't ever want to put her books down when I pick one up. Never. And she's very easy for me to read this entire thing in one sitting. No problem. Question 7 is rising tides, which is when the tide is coming up and it's starting to sweep over everything and it's starting to cover the shore and it's starting to cover the ground of where it shouldn't be. And pick a book that overwhelmed you. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This book overwhelmed me. I was so overwhelmed with what these characters experienced and what they were forced to do and what they were forced to be put through and the decisions they were forced to make. And it was just so incredibly heartbreaking. And it's one of my favorite books of all time. And I will definitely reread this one day. I actually can't wait to reread it. But very emotionally overwhelming for sure. Question number 8 is the calm before the storm. And that is definitely something that you experience with hurricanes. It's super calm. It's kind of beautiful outside. Not even a little bit of a breeze, but the storm is coming and you know it. So you kind of enjoy the calm before the storm happens. And for this one, you are supposed to find a book that just took way too long to get to the good stuff. For this, I'm going to say The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series by Stieg Larsson. Like all of them, all 3 of these books took almost a quarter of the book to get to anything even remotely interesting. But once it hit, like it was nonstop after that. Like once that action hit, like it was done. But it took way too long to get there. you know, I shouldn't be waiting a quarter to half of the way through to even be a little bit interested in it. So yeah, but I loved them, but it took too long, but I still loved them. So I guess I don't know how I feel. Question number 9 is the eye of the hurricane. And that is definitely, you know, when you're right in the center of it is actually where it's the calmest, and it's just kind of all that pressure building right there. And this one is to find a character who is calm under pressure. And for that one, I'm going to say Mark Watney in The Martian by Andy Weir. I love Mark Watney. He's one of my favorite characters of all time. Very, very high up there. I hesitate to say my favorite, but like one of them for sure. He is fantastic. He's brilliant. He's funny. He makes the best out of the worst possible situation that you can ever have, being stranded on a planet and like trying to survive and live. I couldn't do that. I'd be panicking right away and I'd be dead within seconds. But he survived it. And yep, definitely cool under pressure for me. And question number 10 is the aftermath, and that, you know, the cleanup and the recovery and the trying to put things back together and get back to normal. And it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of help, you know, just help needed from the outside. And for this one, you are supposed to find a character who is always willing to help in any way possible. And for me, I'm going to say Leia from An Ember in the Ashes. She just about dropped everything to help her brother. She just dropped everything to help a friend that she makes while she is being a slave. She drops everything to help a boy who is forced into a situation he doesn't want to be in and is on the brink of being killed for it. So at least 3 characters right there. Like off the top of my head. There's probably more, but off the top of my head, I can name 3 characters that she just dropped everything and wanted to help without question, without hesitating, and she just did it. She just did it. Like, wasn't even a second thought to her. And I admire that in her. So, Leia, for sure. Okay, guys, that is it for me. That is the hurricane tag. It is an original tag. If you guys would like to check out some websites where you can donate to help out the victims of Hurricane Michael, who are still months and months and months away from anything even remotely normal, I'm going to leave some really good links down below that I have come across where you can donate anything that you can. And I hope you guys will check those out because they are just the best people who are suffering right now. So, you know, every little bit counts. Don't ever think that nothing counts. It really, truly does. And I know that these people are extremely appreciative of anything that anyone is willing to do to help out. So I hope you guys will check those out. If you want to do this tag, please do. I hope you do. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day.